Well, hey there. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rusty, and this is my channel where I talk about my favorite movies, mostly horror, and my favorite music, mostly metal. And yeah, we're continuing our little screen share thing here, Screenlife horror movies, with the sequel to the movie I just did, UnFriended. This is UnFriended Dark Web. Okay. So, UnFriended Dark Web was released in 2018, and it was directed by Susco, and it was written by Susco, and it stars Colin Woodell, Stephanie Nogueras, and Betty Gabriel. Yes, it was. And this movie opens is very, very similar to UnFriended, but a whole lot darker. I think the kills are not necessarily better, but the kills are I don't know, a little more. You get to see a little more of them, because the ones in UnFriended were pretty flashy, you know. But this movie opens with us looking at a login screen on what we later find out is a MacBook, an Apple laptop. And you can see someone trying to get into it, and they do manage to finally, get into the laptop and start using it. And one of the things that they do is they begin to, you can tell that this laptop has not been cleaned or anything. So you see them logging into Facebook, but instead of the auto login that's there, they erase it and put their on, even though they keep sometimes accidentally logging into the auto login that was on there, the remember password thing. So and whenever he does that first couple of times, there's like all these messages that pop up, girls going, hey, where have you been, and stuff like that. But he ends up messaging Amaya, and this is like, and I'll talk about that at the end of the review. But this is the only thing that I think is really a little overdone in this movie that I wish they would have either cut down and or spent some time doing other stuff besides this. But we have this little relationship between Matthias and Amaya, and she's deaf, and so he's trying to learn sign language, and he's created a program to help that he can, I guess it's sort of like a voice to text type program, in which he can say something, and he has videotaped all the signs, and the program will then sign all of this stuff to her. So obviously they've been dating for a while, and they're having problems with communication, because I guess it's difficult for a person that doesn't know sign to, I don't know, I've never done that, so I don't know what the difficulties in that. I mean, I can see that there would be difficulties in a relationship like that, but I'm not sure to what extent they would be problematic. But obviously they are having an issue. So we are then, because he's just figuring this out. You can tell that he's figuring this out. He's looking through all these programs and folders in this laptop, and he calls up a Skype, I guess, type thing where we get to meet his party for this movie, like in in the other one. We have, Nari and Serena. That's two girls that are engaged and live together. So, and we have Lex, which is like a DJ type girl, and we have AJ, who is I don't even know how to describe him. And we have Damon, who is in England, and the rest of them are here in the States. So we get introduced to them, and he's of course getting distracted. They're carrying on with their little conversations. He keeps getting distracted by this new laptop, which he claims he just bought, this new fast, speedy laptop from Craigslist. So while he's dealing with them, he's also dealing with Amaya and their problems. And he's also like, hey, I got a new laptop. So he's like looking through the files, and he's looking through the programs and seeing all of this weird stuff, but some of his stuff keeps crashing all the time, and Damon is the expert in this movie. And he tells him, check the disk, because it sounds to me like your hard drive is full. And that's why all of these programs keep, Skype shuts down on him, and, that's what's going to happen if your computer is clogged. So he's like, check that. And the guy's like, yeah, I mean, there's like this whole giant, like almost all of this computer is taken up by this big hidden folder. And so he kind of helps him unlock it so that, he can get into that folder, unhide it so that he can see it. So he manages to find that folder, and he finds all these hidden files. Meanwhile, he's gotten curious about this profile on Facebook, because the second he logs in, he's got all of these girls sending pictures and vids and where have you been, and aren't you going to send me a plane ticket to come see you, and all of this kind of stuff. And so he's kind of curious as well. So he's dealing with his friends, he's having his problem with his girlfriend, and he's dealing with this juicy laptop full of stuff and this profile that he's in where all these people keep talking to him. So in one message, though, that pops up, it's this girl named Erica. And she's like, he keeps closing the message, the notification, but she keeps like getting like, you need to talk to me now. Right? So finally he's like, oh, what? Because he knows he's not this person, but he's like, what? What do you want? And she ends up telling him, this isn't me. I'm not Erica. I think it says something like Chandro 4 or something like that. And he's like, that's me. You're on my laptop. You stole my laptop. She's a friend of mine, and I'm using her, and I'm talking to myself knowing it's you. You stole my laptop. So, but he's like, no. I bought it off of, Craigslist. They must have stole it from you. But okay, I will bring it back. We can talk about it. And the guy's like, really? Show me the ad. Show me the ad on Craigslist where someone bought it. So he's like, okay, all right. I didn't buy it off Craigslist. I found it. And the guy's like, well, I want it back. So it's like, okay, all right, I'll bring it back. So he goes back on this, or, he pulls back up the tabs with his friends, and, he's like, I'll be back in a minute, And right as he starts to leave, though, he has clicked into that, because like I said, he's still being nosy. And he had clicked into that folder, and there's all of these move videos. And he starts playing with this app over here at the same time, because that's what he was doing when this guy messaged him and said, I know you stole my laptop. And it's called The River. There's an app called The River, and Damon's like, well, look in it. What is it? So he pulls it up, and it's like some weird proxy chat room, basically. It's the dark web. It's a dark website. Or it's a dark web chat room is what it is. So, he screen shares it with the whole group, you know, and is like, wow, look at this, you know what I'm saying? And then he ends up admitting to the whole group that he had lied earlier, that he did not find this, he did not buy it off Craigslist. Basically what happened, he works in a cyber cafe, and that this laptop had been sitting in the lost and found, meaning someone left it at the cyber cafe, that it had been sitting in the lost and found box for 3.5 weeks. I mean, I might be tempted as well. But, you know, he's like, I mean, it's not like I stole it from somebody's house or anything. It was sitting in the lost and found at the cyber cafe where I work, and I finally just brought it home. You know, and I think probably places like that might even let you have it. You know what I mean? After a certain amount of time. Or at least buy it from them. But anyway, that's what he admits, that that's what had happened, was that he had done it. And that he was supposed to go and take it back to the person that it belonged to. And right when he does that, he finds a crypto wallet. I've got one on my computer. Ain't nothing in it. But I was curious about crypto, I think, last year or something. I was curious about it, and I kind of learned about it, and I went and got a wallet. So I recognized that, you know, when he found this crypto wallet, and he opened it up, and it has over $10 million in Bitcoin. So his friends are like, what the fuck? That's 10. It was like 10.7 million in crypto. And so he's like, he doesn't really know what to do, you know what I mean? Because he's like, this guy is on the Facebook, and he's saying, you've got my laptop, and I've just found $10 million, and he finds a folder full of videos that are taking up the whole hard drive. So, right about that time, he gets now this is the reason that he went to the river. Another message had popped up, you know, on that profile where that Erica had popped up and saying, you stole my laptop. Another one had popped up going, hey, did you get the transfer? You know, is the order going to come through? And he's curious, and he's like, what order? You know, for what? And he's like, well, is it enough? That's what made him find the crypto wallet. So he's like really curious, because this person has just sent money to the crypto wallet, and he's obviously asking for something. And obviously, whatever this stuff is, it's pretty expensive, because he's got $10.7 million worth of Bitcoin in this crypto wallet. So you can see where the curiosity comes. Now he wants to know, what in the fuck are you ordering, you know, from whom you think is the owner of this laptop. So that's what made him open up that program, The River, because the guy was like, oh, no, we can't talk about it on Facebook. Go to The River. And that's when that Damon had told him, what's the river? And he's like, did you see a program called The River? And he did see a little executable. So he goes to this river. Now he's in there with this river, and this guy, is like popping up, like going, okay, it was that enough? And the guy's like, okay, sure. What is it that you want? And he's like, oh, well, I would like it done. I would like it done by a different method this time. And he's like, well, what kind of method would you like? And the guy was like, he said a word, and he's like, Matthias is like, hey guys, do you know what this word is? And they were like, no. So he goes and looks it up, and it's some kind of surgical procedure where you put a hole in the skull of a living person, And he's like, and then the next message was something like, and it'd be like really better, it'd be really cool if what you put in it was alive. So basically, he's figuring out right here at this moment that someone is ordering a person to have a hole drilled in their head and something alive put in it. And I want to see their eyes when you show them what you're going to put in the hole. And so they all freak out, and he freaks out, and they don't know what to do because they have just walked the fuck into some shit, right? So that's when they all start going, what is going on, and what are you doing? And they're all like, Damon is like, what are those videos? So he pulls up a bunch of those videos, and you can tell that they are snuff films. So this guy was putting in an order for a snuff film and telling them the method by which he wanted this stuff done. So when they see all of this, they all start losing their damn minds, as you can imagine, because they don't know what to do. Next thing you know, though, Amaya, the girlfriend he's having a problem with, she comes up and requests a chat message, FaceTime, and he's talking to her, but he's going to talk to her, but she's not there. Instead, it's just a blank screen, and her roommate comes in, like from the store or something, and walks up to the computer and is like, hey. And he's like, did you call me? He's like, no, where's Amaya? I don't know. I think she's taking a shower. He's like, well, somebody just called me. And then right then you see this person come out of nowhere and attack this girl. And he freaks out. And then the guy sits down after you think he killed her, but it turns out he didn't. But, no, he may have. They didn't show it. But, he claims he didn't kill her. But he sits down and says, I am this person. And you're in a lot deeper shit than you think you're in. Because I'm here at your girlfriend's, and you just saw me, what he thought was kill the roommate. And he's like, I'm going to go in there, and she's fixing to come out. You say anything to her, and I'll kill her right here. But this is what's going to happen. You're going to get her to come to your house, and I'm going to follow her. And you're going to give me my laptop, and I'm not going to kill your girlfriend. Now, his friends know all this. And he's like, I don't care. You better find some way to convince them that this was all a joke or a game. or something like that, because this is the shit that you're in. So he starts trying to convince them that this was all fake, that the videos that they had all just watched, that they were fake. It was just a new program that he was writing for a possible game, a realistic computer game. And, so he's trying to convince them that everything's cool. And then he gets the bright idea that he also went to the same place when he, called up that crypto wallet. So he went, and while he's doing all of this, getting instructions from this guy, he goes and makes him a crypto wallet, and then contacts that guy again, and is like, watch this. And the guy's like, don't do that. But he then transferred that guy's $10.7 million into his own wallet. And it's like, you don't bring me my girlfriend, then you won't get your money. So you're threatening me, now I'm threatening you. That's when the dude, the owner, really freaks the fuck out, because he's like, no, you just killed us both now. Because I tried to tell you that you had just stepped your stupid little ass into a lot of shit. Okay? And he starts talking about the circle. He's like, I'm just a member of this group, and they know all of our crypto wallets, and they monitor them all. And this group, basically snuff film traders and murderers, we're all interconnected, and we, know that. And now they're going to know that, and they're going to think I'm trying to clean out my crypto wallet, and they're going to want to know why. And so he actually starts working with him to be like, I need my laptop back. You need to convince these people. So he goes onto the river, and they're immediately, a bunch of the other members are immediately like, why did you empty your crypto wallet? And he's then telling the owner, this is what they're saying. And he's giving him the answers. Tell him you switched to Ethereum instead of Bitcoin. Okay, they're asking why. It was a better exchange rate. Okay, well, give me the code. And then they're, so he's like, they want the code. And he's like, I'm not giving you the fucking code, because then, and he's like, I don't know, they're saying they want the code. And he's like, you killed us all. You see how frenetic it's getting? So he ends up giving them the code before they're like, final chance, give me the code. So he gives them the code, and the guy's like, you probably just killed us all. They just log out of the river, and he doesn't really know. Now, there's something really going on right here that you're not really, aware of. So you've got this owner of the laptop is supposedly freaking out. You've got Matthias scared to death. He managed to get a Maya coming on the way. And in the meantime, his friends, who he has kind of managed to convince this was all a game, things have gotten so ugly that he has now had to retell them the truth. And that was that what was going on was actually the truth. And he has just lied to them about the game, not the first part. So they're like, you're fucked up. But he starts telling them that the second that they all got online, his entire circle, we're dealing with some real computer hacker, dark web masterminds here, and they know where everyone is. So they kill Lex and show him how serious they are. Because now in their Skype room, now like a whole bunch of members of the circle pop in. They kill Lex, and that freaks them out. And then they're like, the next thing that they do when they don't get things done as fast as they want them done is that they go after AJ, and you get to see all of it take place. They're screen sharing, right? So they're calling up the programs that they need. They swatted AJ right in front of him. He watches them, and so does everybody else, watches him as they swat him. They call up videos of him. They get samples of his voice and string them together. They call up a phone program. They call 911. They used, words strung together from different videos of his to basically make a giant bomb threat, and that he's like got bombs and gonna blow shit up, to get that response. They swatted him, is what they did. And then, they arrive, and everybody's like, just go to the door with your hands up and lay down on the ground, because they think you've just put in terroristic bomb threats, right? So he's trying to do that, he walks to the door, and then his friends watch, though, as they call up another program that has a shotgun sound, and they start screaming and crying like, no, don't do that to him, what? And so the cops come in, and then the circle plays that shotgun sound, so the cops think, because they hear the click and the load, and they shoot him. They blow his ass away. So that was like really cool. That was total what the fuck. Now, so they swatted him and they got him killed. Then the next thing, they go after Serena, because they know that Nari, her girlfriend, has got on the phone and called an officer friend of hers who's on his way over to their place. So they show her mother, right? They show her mother in the hospital who's dying of cancer, and they show her girlfriend Nari at the train station waiting for the subway, for the tube, right? And they're like, which one? We're fixing to kill one. And so that was really ugly and tense, because either she's going to die or she's going to die. And she literally cannot choose, right? Because she just can't choose. So the timer runs down, and they're like, oh, too bad. You should have made a choice. And they show her kill the mother. Then they show the guy kill the girlfriend by pushing her out in front of the subway. Actually, she took that motherfucker with her. So at least one of them got one of the circle, because she turned around and fought, and he managed to push her in front of the subway, but she took him out with her, so there was no way to survive that. So Serena had to watch both her mother and her fiance get murdered, and then they turned around and murdered her. So that's fucked up. Now, remember this Erica girl that I mentioned earlier? Okay, she was the last victim that has been missing in the paper, and she was the last video. But all it was them going into her bedroom and just looking up at the CCTV camera in her room. And then they had discovered that this was a real girl and she was really missing. So there's no one left, right? And they show the only people that are left now are Matthias and Damon and what was her name? Amari. So Amari's on her way to the apartment still. And the circle shows them kill Damon. And they show a notepad where they're writing a note going, me and my friend have done some awful things. And then they show them hang Damon in the room. So it looks like he committed suicide and left a suicide note. And then they show Matthias, who has now left and is at the tube station looking for his girlfriend Amari to get to her. He's looking at this on his phone now. And they show him his apartment that he had been at earlier. And he sees a member of the circle bring in that Erica girl and stick her in the closet and then leave. And so he's watching. He's already seen Damon die. And then he's watching as this Erica girl regains consciousness, I guess, and comes out into his room. And she comes up to that laptop. And you notice that there's like something right here, you know? And she finally notices it too. And she reaches up there and I guess it was like a little Band-Aid or something comes off. And she's got a big hole in her head, and she starts screaming. And he starts screaming. Matthias starts screaming when he sees that, because she's God only knows what they had stuck in her head. But then he doesn't know what to do. So another video pops up, and it's Amari, and it's Amari trying to talk to him, like going, "Why, you know?" He's like, "Where are you?" And she's like, "You gave me a new address to go to. Should I go in?" And he's like trying to sign, and he's like, "No, don't go in there," you know. And then all of a sudden he sees that signing program that he had created to talk to her come up and sign to her to go on in. So she goes on into the building. He can't do nothing about it. He's sitting on the road, not knowing which way to go, sitting on his bike, watching all this take place as his girlfriend walks into this warehouse-looking place and is killed. Somebody comes running out and kills her. So he's just sitting there all stunned when the screen share from the circle comes up and shows him a program that is basically saying, should we now let Matthias live or die? Voting will begin now. And there's like 28,000 votes that come in. So you're immediately shocked because you're like, that's a big organization. So this little snuff circle has 28,000 people that voted for him to live or die. And then it says like voting concluded. And I think maybe like 88% was like, yes, kill him. And the other. And then the second that happened, it zoomed out from him, and you got that jump scare nearly sent my ass over there. You know what I mean? Because I kind of known, okay, well, they're fixing to kill him now, and he's in the middle of the road on a bike, so I'm expecting, I was expecting it, but I wasn't expecting it, because I was in the middle of saying I was expecting it when they flattened his ass with a big truck, you know what I mean? It was like, I was like, okay. Now, I knew that was coming, but it happened so fast. Even though I have just told you, if you watch that movie, you will scream, jump, or something. You will, because you will. Even though I just told you it was coming, you will jump, because I knew it was coming. He was in the middle of the road. They just voted for him to die. And I was like, well, something's fixing to hit him, obviously, you know. But I get it. Could have been a sniper or something. So I wasn't really sure, but I was sure something was fixing to happen. It scared the absolute shit out of me. So, and it was ugly, too. That was ugly. That was an ugly wreck. But there couldn't have been much left of that boy. I thought every bone in his body had to be broken after that truck hit him that fast, that hard. But then it kind of zooms out, and the movie ends with you seeing a room with like 4 or 5 people, and that they're all kind of dressed the same way as the people you've seen throughout the movie, The Circle. And they have these big monitors in which it says The Circle Game Night number 14. So this had been a setup from the very beginning. It was sort of like, you know, like one of those survival horror games or battle royales, but without any battles. It's basically a setup. So basically all they had done was he had intentionally left that laptop at the cyber cafe for somebody to eventually get. And when they got it and got into it, they would then pull this prank on them. Probably a lot of people paid a lot of money to get to see these people killed in various ways. So this whole thing was a fucking game from the beginning. And yeah, that twist really left you like going, okay, they've at least done this 14 times. So obviously it's some kind of event that takes place every so often amongst this snuff crowd, because all that snuff shit was real as well. I'm assuming. Or I don't know, was that all set up? Was the snuff film stuff a setup? Because what if they had just turned the laptop into the police? You know? And the girl really was kidnapped. And she really did have something holding the... So I think the snuff part was real. But they also had this game amongst them where they get to kill a bunch of people by getting you to steal one of their laptops or get one of their laptops and then get involved so that they can then get all of your friends and kill you all. Sort of like a giant game. So it's just another snuff game. And yeah, so that's how the movie ended, with you seeing all of these different members of the circle revealing themselves and laughing with each other about how great this annual event was. And that is Unfriended Dark Web. It kind of like makes you think, you know. I definitely won't be playing with anything. And who's going to turn down a free laptop, you know what I'm saying? However, you might think twice after seeing this. So this was 2018's Unfriended Dark Web. I really loved it. I gave it an 8 out of 10 because it was so twisty. It really was twisty. I did like this one more than the original because it was so much deeper, darker, and the twists were... I mean, Unfriended had twists. Friends Request had twists. This had twists. It was just that it wasn't... This was more twisty than Unfriended was. You know. And it says, I just watched the DVD. No, I watched my Vudu version of it. Blu-ray plus digital. So this says on the Blu-ray it's got 3 killer alternate endings. I need to pop it in to see those alternate endings. That might be interesting. now that I've seen it. Because it also had digital, so I put it on my Vudu, and rather than have to... I'm so lazy, man. I'm just so lazy. The Blu-ray player is right there, and all I have to do is reach over there at my monitor and click it to HDMI. That's all that I've got to do. I don't have to hook it up or anything. I just have to reach over there to my monitor, click it from DVI to HDMI, and click and stick this in and click play. That's all that I have to do. And I'm that fucking lazy that I just went to Vudu and watched it rather than do that. I don't know. But I will see you in the next one. And love you, miss you, bye. Thank you for stopping by and spending a little time. If you do, I appreciate it. If you've seen this, let me know what you think about it. And I will see you in the next one. Love you, miss you, bye-bye. Thanks a lot.